The future is not a distant horizon. It is here. It's unfolding in the choices we make today. In quiet boardrooms and crowded laboratories, the next chapter of human history is being written, not with ink, but with lines of code. At the heart of this story stands a man who does not simply imagine the future. He builds it. His name is Sam Altman. To some, he is the visionary behind a new era of artificial intelligence, a world where machines think and create like humans. To others, he is the dangerous architect of a world we do not yet understand, a world where AI could end up replacing us. This is a story of ambition and risk. It's a story of the choices we make today and the world we will live in tomorrow. It's a story that will define our century. Will AI save us, or will AI replace us? Sam Altman was born in 1985 in the quiet suburbs of St. Louis, Missouri. Far from the bright lights of Silicon Valley, but close to something far more important: curiosity. As a boy, he was fascinated by computers, taking them apart and learning how they worked long before most children even knew how to use one. By his teenage years, the internet had already expanded his vision of the world, showing him that technology was more than just a tool. It was a way to change how humans live, think, and connect. The early 2000s were a time of chaos and opportunity. The dot-com bubble had burst, yet innovation continued to bloom in the cracks it left behind. In 2005, Altman co-founded Looped, a bold experiment in location-based social networking. The idea was simple but revolutionary for its time, making location sharing a natural part of human interaction. Investors believed in the vision, and so did a small but passionate user base. But even great ideas depend on the right moment. Smartphones were still rare, mobile data was slow, and the world wasn't quite ready for the level of openness Loop offered. The app struggled to grow, battling both technical limitations and public hesitation. Still, these early struggles planted seeds of wisdom. Altman learned that success in technology is never only about the brilliance of an idea. It's about timing, adaptability, and reading the future before anyone else can see it. This lesson would follow him for the rest of his career, guiding his steps through failure, through reinvention, and eventually into the heart of one of the most powerful industries the world has ever known. For now, Sam Altman was just another young founder in a crowded tech scene. But the clock was already ticking toward the moment that would define his legacy. And like all great stories, it began not with certainty, but with risk and a vision only he could see. Looped was a bold idea, but bold ideas often meet unforgiving realities. The early years were marked by a constant battle for relevance. Users liked the novelty of it, but many were not ready to share their location so openly. Privacy concerns grew. Technology moved slower than the vision. Adoption was harder than anyone had predicted. Every week brought new competitors. Every month brought new reasons for investors to worry. And so, inside the small office where Loop was being born, the mood shifted from excitement to survival mode. This is where many founders break. This is where a few find their true strength. Altman chose not to surrender. He began rethinking Loop's positioning. He explored how its technology could serve different markets. This was not the glamorous part of entrepreneurship, but it was the most important. Through trial and error, the team refined their approach. They learned how to adapt without losing the core idea. They started experimenting with features that were ahead of their time. They planted seeds for future trends in location-based services. Though Looped never became a global giant, the lessons were priceless. Altman learned that innovation without adaptability is a beautiful idea destined to die young. He carried this truth forward. He was ready to apply it to something far greater than Looped. Something that would change not just his life, but the trajectory of human history itself. Every founder dreams of the moment when their idea finally clicks. For Altman, that moment came after years of struggle. Looped had taught him the value of adaptation. Now he was ready to channel that lesson into something new. The turning point came with a deeper focus on innovation, not just building a product, but creating something that solved a real and urgent problem. He began to see technology not as an end in itself, but as a tool to shape human behavior and unlock new possibilities. The first truly iconic product under his guidance was not from Looped. It emerged when Altman stepped into the world of startups as an investor and mentor. He joined Y Combinator as president. Get there. He had the power to back bold new founders and radical ideas. And under his leadership, Y Combinator grew in influence. It's becoming the launchpad for companies that would change industries worldwide. Airbnb, Dropbox, Stripe. Each of these startups carried the same DNA of innovation and resilience that Altman valued. His key strategic decision was simple but powerful. Invest in people with the courage to rethink entire industries. This approach allowed Y Combinator to penetrate new markets quickly and build a reputation for spotting winners before the world even noticed them. Momentum was now on Altman's side. He had moved from struggling founder to kingmaker in Silicon Valley. But this was not the peak of his journey. It was only the foundation for his most ambitious project yet, a project that would go beyond apps and platforms. A project that would try to redefine what it means to be human in the age of machines. Expansion is a test of vision. It is also a test of discipline. As Y Combinator grew, the scale of operations became massive. Dozens of startups joined every batch. Each one demanded attention, resources, and guidance. Altman pushed for more ambitious goals. He wanted Y Combinator to fund not just tech companies, but ideas that could change the world. This meant opening doors to fields like biotechnology, clean energy, and artificial intelligence. It was a bold move. It also carried enormous risk. With greater scale came greater responsibility. Every decision had the potential to affect entire industries. Every mistake could cost millions. Altman also started making personal bets outside Y Combinator. He invested in groundbreaking but uncertain ventures. He was not afraid to put his name and reputation on the line. Some moves paid off, others faced heavy criticism. But Altman believed that avoiding risk was the surest way to stagnation. He once said that the biggest risk is not taking any risk at all. This mindset fueled expansion into new territories. It also attracted investors and founders who wanted to think bigger. Yet the pressure was constant. The higher the stakes, the sharper the scrutiny. Expansion had given Altman more influence than ever before. It had also set the stage for the greatest gamble of his career, a gamble that would pull him out of the world of startups and place him at the center of a global conversation about the future of humanity. When Altman stepped into the world of artificial intelligence, the stakes changed. The debates were no longer about startups or markets. They were about the future of humanity. As CEO of OpenAI, he promised to develop AI that benefits everyone, not just the powerful, not just the wealthy. But building AI at scale is not a quiet process. Critics questioned the risks of creating systems more intelligent than humans. They warned of dangers that no company could fully control. Inside OpenAI, tensions sometimes ran high. There were disagreements over transparency, questions about whether the company was moving too fast. Outside the walls, the media amplified every concern. Some saw Altman as a visionary leader. Others painted him as a reckless architect of an uncertain future. Then came moments of real crisis. Policymakers demanded answers. Competitors raced to release their own AI models. Every decision carried ethical weight. Should the technology be open to the public or locked down to prevent misuse? Altman walked a fine line. Too much caution could slow innovation. Too little could invite disaster. The controversies did not break him. They hardened his resolve. He doubled down on building safeguards, pushed for global conversations about AI governance. But the storms had left their mark. They proved that changing the world is never a clean or simple process. The world of technology moves fast. Artificial intelligence moves even faster. In 2022, OpenAI entered a new era with the launch of ChatGPT. It was not just another product release, it was a cultural moment. Millions of people began using AI in their daily lives. Students, writers, entrepreneurs, even governments. The company rebranded itself as a leader in accessible AI, no longer a quiet research lab, but a global force shaping how information and creativity flow. Sam Altman became the face of this transformation, traveling the world to meet presidents, prime ministers, and policymakers. His mission was to explain the promise and the risks of AI, to push for guardrails, but also to defend the pace of innovation. Inside OpenAI, the scale of operations grew enormously. Partnerships with tech giants brought billions in funding, but also increased the pressure to deliver. Critics argued that OpenAI had strayed from its original nonprofit ideals. Supporters countered that this evolution was necessary to survive. AI was no longer a niche research field. It was infrastructure like electricity, like the internet. In this modern era, Altman balanced two roles: builder pushing the limits of technology and a diplomat navigating the fears of a changing world. The question remained, could OpenAI adapt fast enough to stay ahead? Because in the world of AI, transformation is not optional. It is the only way forward. Every great story leaves behind lessons. Sam Altman's is no exception. The first lesson is that vision must be matched with action. Ideas are easy. Execution is rare. The second is that risk is unavoidable. Trying to change the world without risk is impossible, but every risk must be calculated. The third is adaptability. Markets shift. Technology evolves. Those who refuse to change are left behind. Altman's successes came from embracing uncertainty. His mistakes came from the same place. He showed that leadership is not about avoiding criticism. It is about standing firm when it comes. For entrepreneurs, the takeaway is clear. Chase ideas that matter. Build with urgency, but think in decades, not months. And for society, the lesson is more complex. Innovation can be a gift. It can also be a threat. The balance between progress and safety will define our future. And the people who lead that conversation will shape the century ahead. Will OpenAI still be relevant in 10 years? No one can say for sure. But one truth stands: the future belongs to those who dare to build it. The story of Sam Altman is still being written. Every day brings a new decision, a new line of code, a new possibility for the human story. We stand at the edge of something vast, something we can barely understand. The question is not just what AI can do, but what we will choose to do with it. Will it make us wiser, kinder, more connected, or will it divide us, replace us, rewrite what it means to be human? The answer will not come from machines. It will come from us. From the choices we make, from the leaders we trust, from the values we refuse to abandon. The future is arriving. It will not wait for us to be ready. So the question remains, will we shape the age of AI, or will it shape us? The age of AI is here, but the story is far from over. What role will you play? Let's find out together.